All right, welcome in everyone, diving right in today, going deep on a story most folks know, at least the broad strokes. But we're going granular, right? Moses, first time he's encountering, well, that level of divine interaction and the mission he gets handed.
Big shoes to fill, you could say.
Understatement of the millennium, probably. But that's what makes it so fascinating. Exodus chapter 4, that's our text. And the question for anyone listening, how does someone so hesitant, so unsure of himself, become the Moses leader material? And tucked in there, the tactics. How do you persuade folks when they might just not believe you, point blank?
Right off the bat, Moses is not exactly leaping at the opportunity. Which honestly makes it relatable, right? Not some booming voice, perfect confidence.
Yeah.
He's got doubts, and those are what get addressed first. I think there's a lesson there, even for us now, you know? That hesitation before we do something big, maybe it's not weakness, but part of the process.
Okay, so this reluctance,
Yeah.
more than just nerves, he's worried about being dismissed. He's been gone, he's an outsider now. And the response he gets, not some big speech, but something way more immediate.
Absolutely, it's what's in your hand. Simple, everyday shepherd's staff. And that becomes the first sign, snake time. But what gets me is Moses' reaction. He runs. Not awe, fear. It makes you think, this divine intervention, maybe it was unsettling even for him, you know?
Don't just watch, takes off running.
Yeah.
Then, the instruction, grab it by the tail. Not exactly standard snake handling procedure. What's that about, reaching out when you're scared?
Has to be an element of faith there, acting even when it seems illogical, even risky. And he does it, staff goes back to normal. The reason, it's laid out clearly so that people believe it's the Lord God of their ancestors. It's linking back to their identity.
Yeah.
Directly addressing Moses' fear of being some guy with a wild tail.
Tapping into that shared history, smart. But, snake on the ground, maybe not everyone's convinced by that. There's a follow-up, right? Not a one-and-done deal here.
Nope. Sign number 2 gets personal. Not some object. It's Moses himself, his hand. Puts it in his cloak, leprosy, white as snow. That's vivid and disturbing imagery. Then back in the cloak, healed instantly. Divine power, but this time tied to his body. Leprosy back then wasn't just an illness. It was social, religious stigma, divine disfavor, the whole 9 yards. So healing it, even more impactful.
That image, the hand, visceral is the word.
Yeah.
We've hit hard for them culturally. Not just visual, it's vulnerability, then miraculous recovery. Deeper somehow than the staff.
You hit it, first sign's external, power over nature. Second one's internal, affliction, then healing within Moses. Like different approaches to persuasion. Maybe some folks are convinced by spectacle, others by something more personal, transformative.
And then the backup plan. If the staff, snake, and the hand don't do it, there's option 3, and it involves, well, the Nile,
Yeah.
water into blood on dry ground. That's escalating things, isn't it? Like convincing folks wasn't going to be easy.
Oh, that's a big one. Nile, lifeline of Egypt, their sustenance. Turning that to blood, unsettling's putting it mildly, impacts daily life directly. And the way it's described, specific, right? Water from the Nile onto dry land. It's localized, immediate, like disrupt your existence kind of power, if you don't believe.
So we've got the signs, increasingly intense, doubt-busting toolkit. But even with all that, Moses hesitates again. And his objection this time, so human, so relatable when you're facing something huge.
Totally. Seen miracles, basically, but still, self-doubt pops up. I've never been eloquent, slow of speech. We've all been there, right? Big challenge, and we question our own skills. Like, even the extraordinary doesn't wipe out feeling inadequate. Think about it. When have you felt unqualified? Moses, even in this crazy situation, that's a human reaction.
And the response he gets is almost challenging, right? Who gives people mouths, makes them deaf, mute, blind? Me, Lord, reminding him there's a power above his perceived limits.
Absolutely. And then the promise, right? I'll help you speak, teach you what to say. Not just giving him the skill he thinks he lacks, but guidance on how to use it. Real empowerment, it often comes with both the ability and the support to go with it.
But even then, Moses tries one last time. Please send someone else. This is more than just lack of confidence. It's like he's trying to get out of this whole thing.
It really is. Deep discomfort, maybe from the past, maybe just fear of failing. Being called to something big doesn't mean instant yes. Internal struggle, big time. Funny, even with divine authority staring you in the face, that not an instinct is strong.
And that's where Aaron comes in, almost like a divine compromise. God acknowledges the concern, but offers a solution. His brother. What's the dynamic they set up?
Aaron's interesting. God points out he's eloquent and already on his way. Like, this partnership was preordained, meant to be, and the roles are clear. Moses gets the divine word, puts it in Aaron's mouth. Aaron speaks to the people.
Moses' voice, essentially. And the text says, as if you were your mouth and you were God to him. Potent metaphor that. What does it mean, Moses being as God to him?
Hierarchy for sure. Moses, the ultimate source, interpreter of the divine will. Aaron, the communicator, underscores Moses' authority even if he's not the one speaking. And trust, right? Both of them have their roles to play, have to trust each other to do it right.
And through it all, the staff's there. Take the staff, perform the signs. Ordinary object, now tied to the miraculous.
It's the transition, right? Shepherd's tool to symbol of divine authority, the way the signs happen, constant reminder of God's presence, power working through Moses.
So with the reassurance, the partnership, Moses heads back to Egypt, asks permission from his father-in-law, Jethro. Human moment amidst all this, isn't it?
Definitely. Shows respect for those existing relationships before taking on this huge task. And the blessing he gets, go, I wish you well, a little bit of personal validation before the bigger conflict.
And then, more reassurance, this time divine. The guys who wanted him dead, they're gone. Huge weight off his shoulders, right? Obstacle removed.
Clears the path, yeah. Divine timing, the past is resolved, focus shifts to the mission, takes his family, the staff, image of a man returning home, carrying that symbol of his calling.
Now it gets real. Confronting Pharaoh. And we get a glimpse of how tricky this is going to be. God says, perform the wonders, but Pharaoh's heart will harden. Predetermination and conflicts basically guaranteed.
That's a key point. The signs, they're not just to convince Pharaoh logically, part of a bigger plan, one that includes resistance and a more powerful display of God's will down the line.
Foreshadowing, right? Plagues, Exodus.
Yeah.
It's all coming.
And the message Moses has to deliver, it's heavy. Israel is my firstborn son. Let him go to worship me. You refuse, so I will kill your firstborn son. Stark warning, mirroring the potential suffering of the Israelites.
It's the relationship God and Israel laid out. Ultimatum. And the consequence, matching, an eye for an eye. Stakes are high, that's clear. Then we get this weird incident. The lodging place. Divine's about to kill Moses. Comes out of nowhere. What's that about?
This one's always puzzled folks, interpreted all sorts of ways. Zipporah, Moses' wife, she's central here. Circumcision, their son, flint knife, touching Moses' feet with a foreskin. It's ritual and loaded with meaning. Bridegroom of blood, to me, linked to the circumcision. One way to read it, it's about the covenant, that agreement. Maybe Moses' son wasn't circumcised, so he's in violation. Zipporah acts, fixes it, the threat's gone. Bridegroom of blood, man, that phrase sticks with you. Life-saving act, tied to that ritual, the blood solidifying the covenant.
So near-death experience tied to the ritual, the importance of it. Like Moses or his family have to be fully in the covenant before he can lead the people of the covenant. Bridegroom of blood, powerful stuff.
Right, underscores how fundamental that agreement is and the rituals that go with it. Belonging, it's a big deal.
Then finally, Moses and Aaron meet. God orchestrated it, and it's a happy reunion, even a kiss. After all that reluctance, divine back and forth, what happens when they finally team up?
Wilderness meeting, just as planned. Turning point. Moses tells Aaron everything. The words, the signs. They're on the same page before facing the elders. Unified front.
And the elders, they see the signs, hear about God's concern for their suffering. They believe, they worship. First seeds of faith, right there.
Yeah, all that worry about being dismissed, gone. The elders see, hear, and they bow down, worship. Accepting the mission, acknowledging God's working in their lives. Hopeful note, even with Pharaoh looming.
So wrapping up our Exodus 4 deep dive. We've seen Moses, hesitant at first, divine patience and persuasion tactics on full display, increasingly intense, tailored for doubt, partnership with Aaron, crucial, elders buy-in. All this before even facing Pharaoh, who's already set to resist. This is self-doubt, empowerment from something bigger, the challenges of leading and getting people to leave. Timeless stuff. Until next time, and be sure to tune in next time as we continue our journey through this epic tale. Keep thinking, keep questioning, and keep exploring the ancient stories that still resonate with us today.